By the host of Unfiltered, 8:30 every Sunday night. She hardly needs an introduction. Great to have you with us, Redi Thlabi.
Nice to see you again, Francis.
So you're speaking to the Minister of Higher Education.
Absolutely. The academic year just started last week and of course started with protest at major universities. The students are not backing off. They want free education that was promised by the government. Not only that, but they want universities to scrap historic debt. Now, this is very important and it's very interesting as well because universities have to be sustainable. They sound like the big bad guys, but if a university like University of KwaZulu-Natal, which has an 800 million rand historic debt, if they just make concessions and write that off, you know, universities have been painted as the bad guys, I think, but government has almost vacated the space. What is the government putting on the table? And it seems to me, Francis, that a lot of our governance issues and our inequality issues and poverty issues have just been put at the door of universities to solve. Of course, universities play a role in solving inequality in our country, but should they be dealing with problems such as poverty, youth unemployment and so on? We want Naledi Pandor to speak to us about that.
And there's a general frustration, do you agree, with the fact that education gets the lion's share? We're talking about skills for these young people to be able to get jobs, and just the outcomes are not there.
The outcomes are not there, firstly. We spend so much on education, but the outcomes are not there. And then secondly, when you compare our predictions for economic growth, 0.9%, compared to the 4.2% of emerging markets, emerging economies, and I think in the sub-Saharan African region is about 3.1%. So our economic growth is dismal. It's in ICU. So where are we going to find money for all of this? And to scrap off debt, again, puts the burden on universities. What do we need to do to just breathe some life into our higher education sector? And it's not just higher education, isn't it, Francis? Because we talk about higher education perhaps because it's the most politicized. But if you think about early childhood development, primary schooling, secondary schooling, are we failing our children? I suspect the answer is yes.
And I think she's spoken about the shooting already, but generally it seems like it's getting varsity should be a safe space, but we're seeing increased tensions, violence year after year.
Securitization of institutions of learning. But if you speak to vice chancellors and academic staff, they will tell you that the police have vacated the space. What do we do to disarm students? The students tell you we come there unarmed, but the universities are bringing armed guards. Where is the state? That is the question.
All right, a plethora of issues. Thank you very much, Redi Thlabi. Join her on Unfiltered at 8:30 tonight. I will be back at the top of the hour. We'll take a look at your weather, then sport. But first, 4 Spanish polar explorers